great time right now to maybe kind of do an overview of the Bible, beginning with Genesis. No, I'm just kidding. No, we'll have a let's understand the situation that we're in and get it. But we'll look at the storm, a familiar storm in a particular setting that's in Mark's account, and other accounts as well. We'll look at Mark's account, Mark chapter 4. John read for us verses 35 to 41. If you think about this, I really admire the writers giving us this information. Jesus was obviously God in the flesh. What I find interesting is Jesus didn't experience a perfect day every day weather-wise. It wasn't always sunny, overcast, mid-70s, maybe upper 70s. That Jesus didn't always experience, smooth days on the Sea of Galilee, just a nice, gentle breeze blowing the boat. That he too experienced storms and going through the storms as we face physical storms. When it rains, or even metaphorically, when it, instead of dropping down water, it can drop down problems that we face in life that can be overwhelming sometimes in our life. And Jesus shows us through his own earthly life that not every day is going to go out the way that you want it to. Not every day is going to be just perfect and great, like you're on vacation. It's not a smooth ride through life. And he shows us that, especially towards the end, as the final week leading up to what he came to do, and that was to die for us. But I want us to think about what the story is really presenting us three things. Number one, there's before the storm, there's while they're in the storm, and then there's the end of the storm. And I want to share these three things, and then the lesson is yours. Number one is this, before the storm. Now, if you look very carefully in this particular story, you'll see in red letters, the very first red letters, it says something very important. Let us cross over to the other side. Now, who's saying it? Well, if it's red, it's Jesus, right? And Jesus is God. So God is saying, let us cross over to the other side. Now, look, this doesn't take a rocket scientist to understand this. If God says we're going to the other side and a Category 5 hurricane comes in, you're still going to go to the other side. Why is that? Because God says it. That's the very key. Don't miss that. We look through and think, well, how did they lose faith? And why did Jesus get concerned with them? Because he told them where they're going to go. We're going to go on the other side. And if I'm on this boat, we're all going to go over the other side. But when the storm came, they would forget that. I think sometimes when the great windstorm arose very quickly and beat upon them, we understand that on the Sea of Galilee, storms could rise very quickly, be very fierce, chaotic. They didn't have the Weather Channel where meteorologists are out there in the storm being blown away telling us how bad it is. They didn't have that at that time. So storms came very quickly. And so with that, this great windstorm came upon them. And I think it's interesting that some of these disciples that were on this boat were experienced fishermen. They had seen a storm or two in the Sea of Galilee. That was their profession. Peter, Andrew, James, and John. They were fishermen by trade. And it's interesting that as great as this storm was, and it's called a great storm, as it came upon them, that they tried to fight it as best they could with their knowledge and with their experience. But the storm was too great. It was past their resources. The storm was past their strength. It was past their own ability to do that. And yet, it was Jesus who reminded them, let us pass through on the other side. What common word do you have to lean on before you go through a storm? Is there anything that Jesus says or the Bible presents that before you go through something that you feel is coming on, maybe on your way to the doctor's appointment to figure out what the scan says, Whatever life presents to you, what do you think about? Do you think of anything that God has promised? If we don't, I would encourage you to find something that Jesus or God has promised and anchor on those words as you go through life. Whether it is a promise that was made, whether it is, I will never leave you nor forsake you, whether it is, you can do all things, whether it's, God will bring all things to the good to those who love God and call according to His purpose. There's so many things that are there that we can look to and be drawn towards that can help us. How has God led you? Let me ask you this. In your recent times, past couple of years, how has God led you? If you don't know an answer to that, maybe you need to be paying more attention to your life. Maybe God is doing something that's a deep work in your character so that you can be really transformed into His image and not be halfway into it. Maybe He's trying to bring you into a greater freedom where you're no longer bound by the things in this life. Maybe something that through your family that He's doing. Maybe it's an opportunity to let your light shine to where someone needs to see shine light, where it doesn't come quite often. I'll tell you something, folks. When God moves in our lives, in many ways, it stretches us. Stretches us. And when we're being stretched, the storms can sometimes hit at that time. And when they do, it makes us think, whoa, wait a minute, God, I'm trying to live for you. I'm trying to really, develop this really strong and deep faith. And my family member's going through this, or, the AC goes out. Just try to imagine that. The AC goes out and we can't pay for me. What are we going to do? What am I going to do? I'm trying to live for you. Trying to glorify you. No idea of how hard it would be or tough it would be to go through that. We know that Jesus says difficult is the way and few go through it, but it's one thing reading. It's another thing when you're actually going through it that it really is. Galatians 6 verse 10 and verse 9, if you have your Bibles. Let us not grow weary in doing good. In due season you will reap if you don't lose heart. If we don't give up on God, if we don't quit on God, we will reap a reward. You'll notice in the storm itself, I love Jesus' response. What is He doing while the disciples are panicking? Whoa, this waves and wind, and what are we going to do? And we're perishing. Lord, what's going on? He's asleep in the stern. He's on the same boat, in the same storm, going up and down as the disciples are going. He's fast asleep. What has He been doing? Notice it said in the verse 35, on this same day, He had been teaching exhaustively to the crowd of people that day, speaking to them in parables. Here He comes, exhausted, worn down, and asleep. The storm doesn't wake Jesus up. It's the panicked disciples that wake Jesus up. What do they say to Him? Do you not care that we are perishing? They thought they were going to die, didn't they? They felt like it. Felt like this was it. Now think about that logically for a moment. This is what, again, this kind of plays on it. This is what fear does. This is what storms do. They're very good at this. When they happen and we don't anchor into something that's stable like God's Word, we don't think rational thoughts. Think about that. What's the rationale in saying, do you not care? First of all, I came to this earth. I lived as you have lived. I've given up heaven. Do I not care? Me being here should answer that question. Secondly, that we are perishing. When Jesus called His disciples to lead them into the bottom of the Sea of Galilee, was that God's plan? Hey guys, I want you to come. We're going to change the world. Oh, let me second that. We're going to go to plan B. You're going to drown in the Sea of Galilee. They've forgotten. Because in the moment of the storm and things going around them and then spinning and going up and down and everything, that they just had forgotten what the Lord said at the very beginning while on the boat, and they had forgotten all the things that they learned from the Lord. They threw that out as they were throwing their fear in their own lives. It's our response and our reactions to things in our own life. I don't know about you, but sometimes I can find that storms are really the most vulnerable time for me to really define how dedicated I am in my walk with the Lord, or am I not so dedicated? Am I truly committed to Him, or I'm just a fan, a Jesus fan? Am I willing to dig deep and dig in and be committed and stay on the course? It's not that in those moments that we feel like God's so far away, we feel like maybe He's there, He just doesn't want to do anything about it. God, do you not care that you know what's going on? You see what we're in. We're going to perish. I wonder if the disciples thought, hey, we're going to go to the other side, okay? I'm assuming that that's just going to be a smooth, gentle sail across the Sea of Galilee. When God promises eternal life, when God promises Himself and being with us, that doesn't mean it's just going to be a walk in the park. It's just going to be skipping through our life and enjoying our days and just finding ourselves, just enjoying everything that's going on. It's not what that means. It's counter-cultural, if you live, when you understand and kind of live our lives and understanding that this is what God has promised, and then we find ourselves going against that, or it's going against those things. Look at the end here. Remember, Jesus was there like He is with us. Jesus responds two ways. Number one, He speaks to the storm. He says to the storm, "Peace, be still." Now, in my translation, it's New King James, it refers to the storm as being great. But notice what it says about the calmness of the storm. It's also great. And hearing lessons and seeing visual pictures of this, it's always this great big storm that's happening and taking place. But what about the other great thing? What's the other great thing? The calmness of the Sea of Galilee. Calm. That's also noted. That's also described as being great. The wind ceased, and there was a great calm. And then Jesus turns to the disciples and He speaks to them. He says in verse 40, "Why are you so afraid? Why are you so fearful? Have you no faith?" Was He disappointed? Yes. Did He give up on them? No. Remember, they were fearing. They were panicking. They were not just thinking drowning physically. They, in a way, why Jesus directs to their spiritual nature of who they are, they were also drowning spiritually. They had forgotten that Jesus said, "We're going to go to the other side." I don't care if it's Cat 5. I don't care if it's a typhoon. I don't care whatever happens. We're going to get to the other side. Sometimes, just as disciples, we might have. I know sometimes we may assume too much. "Come unto me, all who are weary and heavy laden, I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you. It's easy. Burden's light. Okay, I'll do that." But what if we assume the rest of our days will be just fine? We follow God, we dedicate to Him, we deny ourselves, take up a cross, and follow Him just as He said. As Jesus is Lord of my life, and therefore He's going to handle all my problems from then on out. And then when something happens, it doesn't work out that way like we think. I want to ask the disciples, did you really assume by getting on the boat, knowing that Jesus was there, knowing that He's on the other side, did you really think that it was just going to be just a simple sailing through? Yet I want to say the same to Christians. Did you really think when you gave your life to Christ that Satan would not bother you? Did you really think that? Did you really think that no temptation will come upon you and try to make you fall away from your relationship to Christ? Did you really think that somehow God would hedge you in such a way that would keep away all things from you when He didn't even do that for His Son? Jesus has promised us, folks, faith is the victory that is to overcome the world. 1 John 5, verse 4. But that doesn't mean every day is a perfect stroll through the park. Every day is a great day. Every day is a wonderful day. Every day is a day on the beach. That's not what Jesus means by that. How do we respond to storms? Let me ask you something. I asked you to tell you this. Or I maybe asked you. Sorry that he got me. Did they ask for the storm? Hey Lord, we need our faith tested. Could you send us a storm here and see how we do? No, they didn't ask for it. Did they enjoy it? No, they didn't enjoy it. Think they learned something from it? Yeah, I bet they did. I bet they remember Jesus looking at them, why have little faith, no faith. But they remember that. Bet they remember the disappointment. I remember disappointing my parents, and I still can see my mother look at me disappointed. Why did you do that? That hurt more than the punishment, knowing that she was disappointed. Yeah, and I think in life we need to have the opportunity to lay our fear at the feet of Christ, lean and continue our faith in Him, trust in Him. Now, your way, we're all going to the same place, but the way you may go may not be smooth sailing. It may be smoother for some and not for you. I don't know the reasons for all those things. I do know that God is with us. I do know that God loves us. Like the story, we will make it to the other side, the side that matters, that counts. How we get there, well, there's going to be some bumps, there's going to be some setbacks, there's going to be some negative things that happen, and how we respond to those things really depends on our relationship and where we're at with God. How living and how true and how real is God in our life. And I hate to say it this way, but it really is